Hey, welcome to the Twin Cities Division.
Welcome to the Twin Cities Division.
Welcome to the Twin Cities Division.
Welcome to the Twin Cities Division. I like mine better. From the historic White Seventh Depot, welcome to the Twin Cities Division.
Welcome to the Twin Cities Division.
Happy New Year, Ken.
Happy New Year. Wish I had my little noise. No, I didn't have a noisemaker anyway. I'll admit I probably wasn't up past 10 o'clock anyway. So,
Yeah, I don't know who stays up that late anymore anyway. So.
well, I got a note from some guys in Australia, probably about noon, 2 o'clock, that said Happy New Year. So I knew it made it there. And I got another one from England about 5, 6 o'clock. So I knew it made it there. So I was pretty comfortable. They didn't need my help here anymore. I could just go to sleep.
Well, we'll have to see who made resolutions and who's the first person to buy an engine in 2024.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah. No, I've just been buying lighting. I'm learning all about Woodland Scenics light ups. So it's a wonderful system, but boy, do you need a lot of little parts.
Yep, I agree. I understand that you can get really a lot of the same lamps and that from a lot of other sources, but those Woodland Scenics little bars with and then I mean, it just makes it so easy.
Yeah, it does. I found another company called Evans Designs.
Yes.
With a lot of LEDs. And I placed an order with them, and they actually called me to tell me like one of the switches, I bought an on-off switch, wouldn't work with, so they were like working with me.
Yeah.
Which was sad because then I looked at their catalog again and spent another $40. They probably do that to everybody.
Yep. Well, and I agree. I've bought a bunch of stuff from them, but again, because the Woodland Scenic stuff is so easy, uh, albeit more expensive, it's just you set the stuff down, you plug it in, and viola, it works. So
Yeah, it's pretty interesting as long as you don't plug it into the wrong colored box like I did the first time. So, anybody else out there uses Woodland Scenics or Evans? Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you're hoping for. Any other things you got for that? Let's go through our announcements real quick, and then we got a quick little Railfan video here you guys might like. So coming up, we have our operators retreat.
absolutely. And Greg Dahl's our chair. info@tcdnmra.org. Just tell us that you want to come along, and we make it easy for beginners. But if you're a experienced operator and you just want to see some different operations, let us know, because we have lots of slots, and our whole idea is to build more and more fun for everybody. So that'll be fun. So we're filling that. I've already gotten a couple of reservations, people that couldn't wait till January 1st, and that's just fine. 7:30 to 9 is breakfast, and the pie will be on. It'll be nice and fresh, so you can have coffee and pie that early in the morning if you like. You'll work your first layout 9:30 to noon, go to lunch till 1 o'clock, and you usually have a little fudge there, so you can make your next layout in no trouble. Then you'll run again from 1 to 3:30, and everybody will have the opportunity to run on 2 layouts. So that's it. We have a small fee, and we use that to fund the programs that we do and the events. We buy equipment or we buy supplies, so that you can just show up and do things. Like, for instance, our skills day, which we're going to do another one of. So come join us. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that skills day, I think we're looking at April. That's going to be a really good one.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, our prime event here, the Modelers Retreat.
Yep. And that's where in the past, I believe it's the 6th annual. It might be the 7th. I don't know. But it's really where modelers can come to meet, share, and learn, all while having a great time. And you meet some of the best modelers in the Twin Cities that are there. You get ideas. We've had a couple different number of times we've had 3D people that are doing 3D printing there, that are sharing what they're doing and how they're doing it. We've had people doing, you can bring your engines in and they put them on the JMRI programming track. And it's not simply to display a model. And I say that simply because I don't want you to get too tight on that. If you don't have a completed model, bring it in, particularly if you're saying to yourself, man, how am I going to do this last little detail? Bring it in, put a note on it saying, this is what I've done so far, and here's where I'm stuck. And you'll be surprised at how many different people have got suggestions for you. And the best part is some of them will be of value. So it's a great time. Going to be a great time.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, in April, we're doing Oh, yeah, January 11th, we have a Zoom, and February 8th, we have Zooms. That's going to be a lot of fun. Um, we may do pop-up events. Like we've been a number of us popped up down at the Minnesota Free-Mo set up in the Burnsville Mall, and you can have a little party down there because the end of the mall they're in is pretty empty except for the pop-up train store. So you can come, enjoy watching the N-Scale Free-Mo run, go over and relieve yourself of some money or get those things that Santa did not get you, and have just a great Sunday afternoon. So
Yeah. And we're also talking about, I was talking with Mr. Binish about, we have layout tours coming up, we see in April,
yep.
but we're talking about hosting a specific layout tour that looks at layout design.
Oh, neat.
I know the layout design SIG does this, but we're looking at a layout design tour to take people to a layout and show them either the entire layout or a certain part on how to model and how the person did it. So that'll be coming up soon too.
Right. Yeah, that's a neat idea. And there's a lot of neat railroads under construction. And a lot of times those people say, nobody wants to come see raw bench work, but that's actually a great idea. So neat idea. I hadn't thought about that. Well, good. See, go ahead.
We got the convention coming up. Dan noticed the 20th. Yeah, the date it should end the 19th, but it is in Wisconsin. So depending on how hungover you are, you might be there for Monday. But
is that right?
Yeah, it's the 16th through the 19th. We gotta get a new slide making guy.
You're right.
We'll put out for applications.
Okay. Well, see, by golly, I'm glad you told me that because I was going by the notes that the convention organizers gave me, and it had Thursday and Friday both being the 16th, and 18th, 19th. They're probably just in another time zone over there in Eau Claire. They might
in
be.
Chippewa, Claire, yeah.
But let me talk to you just a second about that convention. We have got a phenomenal group of clinics already posted. Dr. Greg Congdon, Bill Egger, formerly of N-Scale Magazine, Jack Gooch, Cody Grivno, Gary Leone. Gary's fought a little bit of illness, a little cancer, and his work, he's just phenomenal. So he's going to be doing a clinic. Dave Pedersen's going to do a clinic. Pat Thoney is going to do a clinic. We have contacted Bernard Helen of Mini Prints, and he has agreed to do a clinic, and we will record the clinic just so we have it, and then he will be on live with us and talk to us about painting miniature figures, and that includes wet palette painting, how you prime them to get them to look the best. I've seen this clinic before. It's great, and we will have a bunch of figures there so you can practice. I have been told when I put out this thing that we're doing this, I was told that all the figures could not be in S scale. And I thought, what? But so we'll have HO, N scale, and O scale figures. I'm looking for somebody that makes N scale figures. Does anybody make those, or do you just stand up a grain of rice and say that's a person? I don't know that. We've also contacted the Lake States Railway Historical Association and asked them to come and do a presentation on their archive, which is going to be a lot of fun. So, and we're adding to this list. We're going to keep everybody busy. Plus, there's, I think we have a slide on this coming up. I'm sorry, I just jumped the gun because there's so many exciting things going on. And then in August is the NMRA National Convention, the Surfliner. And you can go there because Thomas is bringing the lovely Diana, and so go be part of the fun out in Long Beach, California.
That should be fun. And if anybody's going to Springfield, I'll be out there.
Yep.
And looking for somebody to hang out with after the show. If they want to have an adult beverage, it'll be on me. So
Oh,
Now, our clinician hoster finder has asked me to mention that the convention still has openings for you to give a clinic.
right.
So if you have a specialty, electronics, scenery, history, painting N scale people, which maybe just painting an engineer's coat on an ant or something, but
Yep.
yeah, we're looking for you. So if you would like to give a clinic, let us know, TCW info, and we will put you in touch and see if you can inform us all on a subject that you are an expert on. And remember the Mike Jordan rule. If as soon as you're 50 miles away from home, you're an expert on the subject. And I think Eau Claire's like 90, so you're good.
You are.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and I always recall one of the early lessons I had in leadership was the Genghis Khan approach to leadership. You stand up, you holler, you make gestures at people, get them intimidated, then you sit down, fold your arms, like, okay. So you don't have to be the right, you just have to be loudest.
I like that. I like that at all. So yeah, there's the Sauda City Hauler. Good price. Wonderful hotel. Wonderful hotel. We have a lot planned. The convention in the Twin Cities was a good time, so this will even be better.
It will. And did you notice this, by the way? Dan has said, I feel like the TCD should have a permanent convention committee. And I think he's saying he feels he should be the TCD convention committee chairman.
I think so.
I
think so.
Works for me.
Save that comment. We're going to post that. And,
we will. Yeah.
Dan can look for associates.
So it's going to be a great time. I'm looking forward to the speeder trip.
Yeah.
That Milwaukee Road branch line, riding on a speeder. Do you know how any idea how fast those things go?
Kilometers or miles an hour? I don't know.
I don't know. Do they get airborne?
It's Milwaukee Road track, so there's a chance.
I meant would they stay on the track and would they fall off?
Well, that's why I think they want 4 riders per
there you go. Okay. We're told here 12 to 18 miles an hour. I think that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that you can outrun the mosquitoes. That's all I care about. So. I took that trip once. I took it in the fall along the river, and it was not pretty. So
great.
Yep. And so, like you said, we're looking for you to present a clinic at our Zoom meeting. I know a lot of people that are in chat now are experts at electronic clinics and giving them online.
And if you're not, we'll help you.
Yeah, and if you're not, we can help you with that. So tcdnmra@gmail. And remember, if you're online, you're automatically 50 miles away. So
that's right.
And we want to thank our sponsors, Scale Mouth Supplies, Details Paint, Styrene, Brushes, all kinds of magazines, Hubba Hobby. We still got 2 locations. And of course, our friends at Scenic Express. Once again, we will be having Skills Day. And everybody's looking forward to that. And we might do another scenery one because that is so popular.
It is, exactly.
So.
And, we had talked, one of the things that people have asked us is if there's opportunities outside of these clinics to get some introduction to how to do these things. And we're really looking at ways to do that. It's always challenged because you got to balance so many schedules, but that's really a neat idea. One of the things we'd like to do, and this goes back to the modelers meet, every year we've had a couple, 3 guys that have set up and done little projects at the table while they're at the modelers meet. And nothing fancy, just something. Joe Binish worked on a resin car kit. Tom Lennon was working on a project. It's just fun for you. Then you can sit down and say, how are you doing this? How are you doing that? What's your idea for this and that? So
yeah,
there you go.
I think one year I brought my Cricut machine. It was carving out things and making logos in vinyl, and You don't have to bring a laser cutter, but if you want to sit down and work on a project while you're that attracts a lot of attention.
Yeah, although one year we did have a 3D printer.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool.
that was true. Yeah, he was making track and ties and everything.
Yep, a lot of fun.
3D printing his roadbed or bench work, I think, next or something.
You know, and that's one of the things in the Twin City area. We have a number of people that are really doing amazing work with 3D printing. Now, in the past, most of these people have been there showing what they're doing. We just have never gotten all three of them together because it might be fun if they'd be interested in doing a panel. You know, there's a, oh, I should have brought that up with me. There's a new, in Railroad Model Craftsman, there was a announcement about a company, 3D Central, I believe it is, that is doing work in multiple scales in 3D printing. And he will take your file and be the printer for you. You can either market it yourself or he'll market it and send you a royalty. Boy, for these small manufacturers, small designers, that is just a phenomenal idea.
Yeah. And Ken and I were lucky enough to go to the North Metro Model Railroad Club in Railfan. We made a wonderful video up there one day as club members ran all kinds of trains past our camera, like in a Railfan day. And one of the club members brought his daughter with, who was in middle school or high school, and she was explaining her 3D printing. And she's to the point where she's 3D printing the entire CPKC holiday train. she rode on it one year. I think her father works somehow with the railroad.
He does. Yeah, he's
and so she really likes that holiday train. And she showed us some of her designs, and probably next year there'll be a complete CD printed holiday train. You know, if you don't believe that the hobby is going to be taken over by creative young people, boy, you just run into people like this. The girl is very smart, as are, you know, the other model designers that we have in the Twin Cities area. So it's a good time. We have lots of that. So, we're going to watch a little video here of one of the great model railroaders in the Twin Cities. John Hotvet was kind enough to let me come up and Railfan his layout and interview him and look at his collection. And we're going to see a little short video where we follow his 1936 Super Chief, the first year of the Super Chief around. It had diesels on his beautiful layout. These are hallmark brass models, the Bulldog types. And then also I would like to know in chat what social media forms you guys look at, because I had a wonderful chat with Lucy Dormont, the NMRA's new social media director. She's going to be joining us one of these Wednesdays, she promised. And we're trying to figure out all the ways that we can reach people, and we'd like to know what's the best way to reach you. So should we run the video, Ken? Then we'll come back for our chat discussion here. So let me push some magic buttons here. And the volume's not correct. Let me know.
Wow. Oh, sorry. Not yet.
Let's add this to the stage full screen. Here we go. About 7 minutes. Doesn't that layout look like a fun place to spend an evening running trains?
It looks like a great spot to rail fan. Hey,
Yeah,
I have a question. You know, he says that's the 36, but would the Streamline car have come later than that?
right. The
don't know.
Streamline came in 37. He kind of perfumed it a bit there,
Oh,
just
okay.
to add to the consist. So
Okay.
that was the first Streamline car apparently Santa Fe had
Oh,
forward. And so the super cheap back then, was an extra $10.
wow.
And so a round trip was about $235, which is like $1,300 today.
Yes.
And that's the second of, I think, 4 or 5 Railfan videos that we've done. You can see the California Zephyr already on our YouTube channel. This will be posted later on there. But yeah, John's one of the best modelers I've ever seen.
Yes.
And we interviewed him, and he let us see all of his F units. He has an F unit painted, detailed from every railroad that owned one, and in every paint scheme they had. So just try and imagine that.
Wow. I recall he used to have a display, he may still be there, at the St. Paul, not Bandana Square, the other one, Jackson Street Roundhouse, of probably 100 different caboose paint jobs. That was pretty impressive.
Yep.
So he's quite the modeler.
That's his thing, is cabooses and F units. Yeah, we got to talk him into coming back to the retreat, at least to give a clinic or something. So
Sure. Yep.
David says 227 F units. And I got to see them all before the convention. He had his house open for the convention, and he had them on display.
Yeah.
And so I went around with the video camera, and it was overwhelming.
Yeah. Oh, that's really neat.
Gorgeous.
And that's the great part, is there's so many extremely talented modelers out there, and just lots and lots of great skills to share. So that's tremendous. That really is.
It's always interesting when he calls me up and asks if I can produce a set of decals for something. I think the last ones I made for him were like the Alaska Railway.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's running out of F units or not, but he's got them for all the railroads.
Oh, that's really neat. That's really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we were talking about social media, and we'll talk about that unless anyone else in chat has something different. Looks like 3D printing's kind of taking over chat.
A lot of conversation. Yeah. So I wonder if there used to be printers in libraries around here. Jim, you're not from around here. Aren't you from out east someplace? But I thought at one time the Edina Library had one. The Cooper High School Library had one, but kids just don't take care of things, and so it was always down because it was gummed up, which is too bad. It was not a resin printer, a string printer, but that's one of the interesting things this young lady was doing. And so if she's in middle school, she's what, 12 or 13, maybe 14. She's making little objects that are cool, and then oh, that's right, Jim's the Bonanza Valley guy. Okay. Anyway, she's actually selling things and making money in her school, and she's saving up to buy a big resin printer. So that's
that would be a good discussion on here, to have a printer and a resin printer, because
yep.
I
Now,
know
Randy's
differences, but yeah, Randy's getting his set up.
Yeah, Randy's using a blender for modeling. Randy, I've tried that, and it actually made my modeling look better.
It did.
It made my wife upset because I screwed up the blender.
Yep. I think I saw Mike Slater, if he's still in here. Mike does some 3D printing and design, and I know there's a few other people in here that have used it. I know I've purchased a bunch of it, but I haven't pulled that trigger yet, because that's a hobby within a hobby.
Yes, it is.
Even though I think at Micro Center you walk by and there's $100, $200. The printer's cheaper than a new engine, so you kind of get thinking about that.
Yep. Yep. Jay's son is, yeah, okay. Yeah, well, I imagine. Hey, Jay, but are there figures being produced in N-scale that we could use for our clinic? He'll have to come back to us on that. So, and so there's another question. What is blending? Is
I think Blender is the name of the software.
okay, okay.
Not like you and I just use it for making margaritas, but
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, when I tried using it for making turf for scenery, that didn't go over very well. Not
with
at
the
all.
wife, Marilyn
No.
didn't approve that.
She did not. And plus the margaritas, the next batch of margaritas I made had a lot of, shall we say, fiber content. Yeah.
I think Luke Lemons taught us to buy a used blender
Yep.
when he ground up an entire couch. Laser cutter benefit. So that's the question. Would you rather have a laser cutter or a 3D printer or a CNC machine? You know, I think for my needs, a laser cutter would almost be better for the things, you know, I create.
The learning
It'd be
curve on a
easier for me
laser.
to design. I think I
Yeah.
could design flat stuff. I don't think I could design.
Yeah. In our company, we had 4 laser cutters, and I would stay late and laser cut things. In the morning, the operators would always come in and wonder why their lasers smelled like burnt wood. So
Yep, I think we had that was Eric. He had a laser cutter and the 3D printers.
he did. Well, he's an overachiever.
I
That's
think,
why we had to send him to Florida.
yeah, he had to go down there. I think there's places for both depending on what you're making. Yeah.
Well, and to your point, the people that are designing in 3D, a lot of times they would like to be able to sell a few of them just to recoup a little of the costs and to get the pride of knowing that their stuff is out there. So, like I'm not a musician, but I enjoy listening to music, and so I go out and support musicians. So,
Yeah, I think so. It's interesting though the holes in the hobby that 3D printing has filled. I mean, if I go on Shapeways, there's an hour of my life I'll never get back. You know, just looking at, mad about cars, trying to find, it's one of the only places where you can find cars for, whatever era you're modeling that are what I call normal. They're not the hot rods. They're not the souped up cars. They're not the Ferraris. I want a 66 Impala.
right.
Hot Wheels isn't going to make that. So
Right.
we have to turn to 3D printing, and it's kind of nice to do that. Let alone, like I said, I've got 3D printed buildings now on my layout, and I've bought 3D printed ore chutes for my dock. Jury's still out on those yet, but
Sure.
yeah, rabbit holes within rabbit holes. There we go.
Exactly.
Could 3D print carrots for Mike Jordan. That would be good. He can prove his point. How many carrots go in a reefer?
So, I can just see Mike getting all those little carrot shavings and batching them up, painting one end a little green and putting them in crates. Yeah, that'd keep him busy for a couple bottles of Ensign Morgan.
Ensign Morgan, yeah, 3D printed crates, and then print out the labels. They always have those vibrant labels on there.
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny carrots or whatever they're, Roger Rabbit's carrots.
Yeah. Dan, one of the last couple of sessions asked what project we were doing for the convention this year. And I asked that to Pat Tony and mentioned that we did the billboards last year. And he suggested all sorts of unique billboards that are common to the Eau Claire area, and suggested that we could all do something like that. And so you could do billboards or you could put ghost signs on the side of buildings. So I'm going to see what Pat develops out of that, but that could be a lot of fun. Just to have a project you can start or start it at the modelers meet and then bring it to the convention, and we'll all show off signs of Eau Claire.
That'd be good.
So,
We could make that a traveling trophy or something for that.
exactly.
I know the podcast, the Crossing Gate podcast, is sponsoring, I don't know if it's a contest, but an entry of taking a piece of Bachman or Cato Easy Track, anybody, that flexible track, and seeing how realistic you can make that.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
Just here's this. What can you do to it to make that look better? Paint it, ballast it, do something else, 3D print something on there. But that's what we're going to have. The podcast is going to sponsor that for probably the Modelers Retreat and the convention. Would be a good idea. Bring it to both.
It would be. And actually, there's a clinic at the Modelers Retreat on making prototype looking track work. And so that's great. I think that'll be a good lead into that. And so we'll connect that so that we can all come in with our little display pieces. And we have a lot of fun with stuff like that. And that's what it's all about.
I think so. I think that's an interesting thing where you get to see something, how people look at it differently.
Right.
I think that, I'm as guilty as anybody else by looking at things one way. And then when people come over to operate the split rock, I'm like, I've never seen it done that way, but,
Sure.
but it's also, I get suggestions on doing things and how to operate and things that I never would have thought of, because we get so focused on what we're doing that we know our own layouts. But when someone else says, well, why don't you try this?
Yeah. But, we talk about all these details and all these fun things to show. Today, I got a phone call from a friend of mine, and his grandsons were in town. They live in Germany. And so they wanted to come over and see the trains. It was just so much fun a second grader and a fourth grader to watch them run around downstairs and look at the trains and point out all the little details and ask about this and ask about that. We forget how the trains were magic in our youth, and I think we forget to share that. So that's kind of a neat deal. So now I'm sorry to see that Mike Penn is leaving, and because I've started watching his YouTube video. That's pretty neat. But Mike Penn's one of these old heritage guys from the Twin City Division back in the, well, I'd say 40s and 50s, but he's still here. So I can't say that long. Yeah, wait till he leaves. But it's nice to see him connect with us again. So thanks. So, and that's fun because we do get people from all over the region and all over the states. So it's fun to see everybody. Fun to see her. And I'm hoping to see a lot of you at the Modelers Meet and the convention.
Right.
So.
And a quick, for those of you that aren't from the Twin Cities, I'm looking at Wigwag and some of these other guys. What other divisions or regions? Lucy asked me this question. Lucy, what other divisions or regions are using social media or YouTube or Facebook that you know of? And I know there's a couple of regions and divisions out east that are very proficient in the use, Northeast region and then divisions within that. And I think the Pacific Northwest region, you can always find them somewhere on social media. But if you know of any, let me know. Or post it on the Facebook group page would be great.
Yep.
Because it's always nice to develop best practices. Ask Mike Jordan. I'm not above stealing someone's ideas, because if you steal from me, you've stolen twice. So
exactly.
And then if we can help out somebody who doesn't have one going on, I know like Mike Slater and the crew just east of us are going to put on an RPM again. And I would love to get a crew of us to get down there this time, and we get some more advertising online and things like that, that'll make that happen.
I'll bet you that if Mike Slater and a few of his guys came up to our modelers meet and set up a display with maps and how to get reservations and everything, I bet that would be highly successful.
Yep. Yep. I've heard rumors that the second section is going to show up and
Yes,
cause lots of trouble. So I'm hoping they do.
I am. And I've already contacted the Plymouth Police.
Yes.
So they'll be ready.
Right. And the
but that-
National Guard too.
Well, right. Yeah. That reminds me though of another thing. The Mad City train show's coming up
Oh,
in
yeah.
February. And I've already heard a couple guys that are going to go down and actually stay overnight. And I forgot to ask if they're going Friday and staying Saturday or Saturday and staying until Sunday. But that could be a lot of fun because there's railroads to visit in the area, and we could really have a good time. I'll bet there's a lot of local guys there. The Sawdust City Express will have a booth there telling people about the convention. So it's going to be a good time. So if you get a chance, come on down to Madison and share that you're interested, because maybe we can put together a couple of cars and caravan down.
That would be nice. I could even see the Eau Claire, depending how this convention goes, which I'm sure it'll be a hit. But in a couple of years, if we go back having a joint convention with our neighbors to the east, which we've done with the neighbors to the south, I believe, a couple of times. We've had
the southeast,
southeast, and I don't know if the Wise Division or who's in the northern Wisconsin division up there, but that would be, it's always wonderful to get two groups together.
Right.
Just get more fun, more socializing.
Yep.
And you get to meet people from, the other region who you might not hang out with in a central meeting place like Eau Claire.
Yep.
Or La Crosse.
And that's really a good point. And we've got to emphasize to Pat that we need to get the word out across the other divisions. Yeah, the Michiana division, I've heard they have a lot of good clinics, and I think that's one where Les Brewer does clinics on theirs. So
are they on YouTube? Do they do live, or are they just on the tube or on Facebook? Or
I've heard the conversation, but I don't know. If Dave Hamilton's still here, he will probably know because he knows everything.
Yes, he does.
Yep.
And so, all right. I think we solved all the world's problems. We had a happy new year. We all survived. We're ready for 2024. Conventions, shows, retreats.
Yep. So does anybody have a big project they want to brag about that they're just starting right now? That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Besides me, I'm learning about trestles and nut bolt washer castings. The convention's coming up, and structures, I need to build a bridge, so I'm starting out with that because I know nothing about bridges. So I'm building this Hunterline kit going together pretty easy. They have wonderful instructions.
So let me ask you a question on that one. So do they come with all the pieces cut to size, or is it just a box of sticks?
No, you get a box of sticks, but the sticks all come nicely labeled.
Okay.
And so I stained them and then put them back where they should go, which was
good plan.
Using my head for once. And the instructions, they had a really neat thing because they have a paper plan diagram.
Yeah.
And I read through, and so I put that on a piece of Homosote, and then they said put a piece of wax paper over it because the glue won't stick to the wax paper, but you can see through it.
Huh.
And so so I'm just I got that down. I've got the wax paper over, which I'm just abusing, but the plan's still perfectly good. The diagram. So I recommend Hunter line. I wish I had some more stains, but yeah, it's real easy to cut. And I had to figure out a way to drill the holes for the nut bolt washer castings. And it'll be a nice little kit. So I think on the NMRA achievement program for structures, you have to have at least one bridge. You have to have
Okay.
12 structures and one bridge. So anybody else building anything for convention or working on an AP project, let us know.
Yeah.
Oh, Randy says he screwed up the window placement.
There you go. Randy's doing a clinic on this Grand Rapids Depot build at the modelers meet. So hopefully he'll bring the screw up and the well done so that we can see that even a master craftsman like Randy can make an error. So
Now, one thing too about our modelers retreat is hopefully by the end of January, the Twin Cities Division will be able to collect funds electronically. So you don't have to come in with your hard-earned cash or send us a check for any of our events going forward, which will be something very nice.
yeah, we're just trying to get into the 20th century. Eventually we'd like to have Apple Pay, and we'd like to have that app that allows us to just reach into your back pocket and take your wallet out. So, but that's usually for me, that's usually my wife.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Collins Cement Plant. Yeah, I was going to say that's a lot to watch.
yep. And he's planning on bringing that to the modelers meet and to the convention. He's working hard on something so he can maintain that best in show.
Yeah, I think he wants to take that home for the next 3 or 4 years. So I think
Sure. Yeah.
He wants his name on there more times than John Hodfed or Lester Brewer, I think. So.
Yep.
So the Michiana division is on Zoom. Is that what I'm reading here?
So,
I don't know if they do YouTube or Zoom. I heard Zoom. Tim D said they do it as Zoom.
So,
I don't know who's allowed in there. Oh, Zoom and YouTube, he says.
how do you spell it? Michiana.
Michiana.
Oh, IANA.
They have a YouTube as well. If anybody has a link, let us know. I don't know who my mods are in here. If Heath is still in here, might have gone on to the other show. Oh, there's a link right there.
Oh, sure.
So it's an email or something.
Okay. NMRA Michiana Division, model railroading in the digital era. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll send that on to Lucy.
Yep. You say they're doing one tomorrow because they say their next meeting is January 20th. But that doesn't mean anything. Boy. Okay.
Tom's working on a branch line laser. There's no might in that, Tom. You will bring them. Whatever stage you're in building them, bring them. You know.
Oh, and Jay's got a friend coming over to do backdrop painting, and that's really great. I hope you're taking a lot of photos along the way, and so Jay, here's a little plug. We could put up a sheet of backdrop material, and he could come over and paint a backdrop in a clinic. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it sounds like Tom Sawyer's people into painting this backdrop, so he'll bring it and then probably hand everyone at the clinic a brush.
Well, I'm saying Jay could Tom Sawyer his friend into coming and doing it.
Oh, that would
and
be
then Jay can tell the story.
Oh.
So Jay, just something to think about.
Yep.
Because that would be a lot of fun to watch.
That's a top question. How do I paint a backdrop?
Right, right. And there's so many backdrop materials you can use. How do you cove the corners? Do you cove the corners? Uh, uh, Dave Jasper's got this big backdrop, and he was saying he was going to get 3 foot wide by 100-foot roll of aluminum, like 20 gauge aluminum, soft aluminum that he could put up on the wall and create his backdrop for. And that Dave's a PhD in physics, so that sounds like his kind of idea. That's not I could never do that. Now wait a minute. Paint N scale figures. Why? What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know.
So, but
more abuse for N scale, I tell you. We got a lot of
really.
N scalers in here.
Yeah.
Probably outnumber the HO scalers right now.
Yep. Well, but the key is when Bernard does his figure painting thing, he uses the wet palette method, and I know that we've seen Matt Lenz do wet palette. That's really impressive. That's really a nice way to paint things, and I learned about that from painting figures. I used to take craft paints and try to dilute them a little bit and put them on. Well, when you do that, they're not as opaque. So I got frustrated and I started putting them on full strength. Well, when you're done with that, you have red, white, green, purple blobs standing in a somewhat human form, but you really miss the you miss the effect. So we're hearing that most N scale modelers don't do figures. Must be lonely on that layout. So, oh well. Didn't Pressler or one of those HO manufacturers do figures that were in questionable poses and things like that? Just seems to me I saw that on somebody's layout.
Yeah, I know I think Mini Prints does and Model U 3D makes wonderful N scale, I think.
Do they really? Yeah, I don't think Mini Prints does N scale.
Don't they?
No. But Model U does?
Because they said they were making like N scale bees or something.
There you go.
Bernard's jokes was free N scale flies or something.
Yeah. Well, that's better than carrots, I guess.
Yeah, well.
So, Tom, here I'm just thinking out loud, and it's a project for Dan. I know it. I'm giving Dan another project, but should we take some ideas for billboard themes and maybe bring to the modelers meet, half dozen, 5 or 6, 7, 8, whatever, pre-printed pictures that could go on billboards?
We could. We could maybe like have an 8.5 by 11 sheet and then print out in all scales.
Right. And let people cut out something they like, bring some different types of wood, invite people to bring wood and plastic and bring some cutting boards. And, we could have a lot of fun just getting people started with that.
Yeah. So where was the billboard clinic that they could?
Kennedy said it, or no, not Kennedy. Guy from Ely, Neil set it up at the modelers meet, and I know that there were 4 or 5 of them made. Dan made one at home, and then it was in the celebration room with everything else. It was just a table full of billboards. Because I saw Tom Lennon got one. So yeah, and Robert brings up that Bernard recorded his clinic on painting from the National, and that's on his website. So we're going to do something like that. But the additional thing we'll have is we'll have Bernard there to answer questions. We'll help you set up a wet palette and send you on your way with some painted figures. Like I said, I'd just paint them all in S scale, and then if you don't want them, you can just leave them on the table. I know a guy that could use them, so that would be cool. So good point. Yeah, oh, and like Jay says, consider using paints designed for wargaming figures. I think that is one of the biggest wows that I've found in the last few years is the guys that do wargaming. Boy, they know they've got colors that are just phenomenal and techniques that are just phenomenal. So,
And I think one of the things too, they're getting the 3D printed figures are getting so well detailed that when you're done, give them a wash to
right,
show the creases and the jeans and the jackets and the dresses and things. I've done that, and it just makes them pop.
makes the facial features pop. It's just really neat. Yeah. There was a conversation I heard about how, everybody used to talk about the 3-foot rule, but with how beautiful cameras work now, it's so easy to take pictures of your camera, and now you're looking at the 3-inch rule, and it gives you an opportunity and maybe a challenge also to have better modeling. But for you HO guys, and I don't know about for sure about N scale, the pieces you buy now come so incredibly detailed. So compare that to 10, 15 years ago. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. The scanners are getting so much better along with the printers. I think that's I'm still waiting for them to make a decent scanner on a phone. And I know
Sure.
they're out there. I'm going to get lots of emails now, stop. But I know to get something where, Grog the caveman can go out and walk around an object, and then I can load that into my 3D printer. So I
Right.
know they're out there, but I haven't seen a real quality one that you don't have to clean up for like 2 or 3 hours. So
Yeah. I've seen Bernard do scans at conventions, and he puts you on a little turntable, kind of like the turntable you put in the middle of your dining room table for pie. And you just spin around, and he scans you and makes the program. So speaking of that, are you going to get scanned while you're in Amherst?
no, I hope not. I think one of me is enough. I don't think they want any.
Don't you think that would be kind of fun to have mini Toms that we could all
Tom.
paint?
I think you can find fat bald guys in any scale. So
That we could paint
if I'm
that.
holding a rock, a big rock of iron, ore, that would be.
Ooh, there
I know
you
that
go.
I get Heath with a camera. I've got a Heath on my layout, and I think I got a Gordy too. I got Kathy Millot from 3D,
Yeah.
and so.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to be running around enough because I've never been there, and
Yeah.
like everybody says, I've been there. There's 30. I guess there's 35 buildings, and 77,000 tables, and manufacturers from 4 corners of the globe.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Dwight asks if you're going to the Amherst, and yes. And Dan suggests you'll be in your UP safety gear, so everybody
I
can find you.
should. Well, I will be wearing a mask because I guess you're there with like 7,000 of your closest friends, and
Yeah. Yeah.
for the immunocompromised people like me, I will be wearing a mask. Yeah, if anybody from the cities is going, let us know. I'm going out on the same plane with Ken Borowski and Art Sewell. Like we all started talking, and we're all on the same flight.
So
So,
we need to, for safety and security and all that, we need to put people on other airplanes.
well,
We can't take the risk of putting everybody on the same
I
airplane.
tried. Heath had me. I was flying to Newark and getting on Amtrak, but got talked out of that.
Yeah.
I did not know Art was going with us, so I found that out at our Christmas party, our holiday party.
Yep. Yep.
So, is Amherst the largest one? I believe so. Has anybody been here that can say that? Anybody in chat's been to Amherst? I don't. Train Fest was the only other one that rivaled it. Or the National Train Show.
Yeah, I think Amherst might be bigger than. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
The National Train Show was big, but it wasn't huge. So
What does that mean?
I don't think that it was as big as what I've heard from Amherst, because somebody put it up 135,000 square feet in one building, and they have 5 buildings. It's like, holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't believe you could see the whole thing in one day unless you were, like sprinting.
Right. No, that's why I'm going for 2 days. I have no plans for that. We might be able to, those of us in the NMRA might be able to sneak in Friday. I guess the NMRA is going to be sponsoring a big chunk of Amherst coming up too, because it's just such a great show. So if anybody has their wants list of things they want me to buy, envelopes of cash are accepted, and then I'll go look. There will be a 10% finder's fee. So
there you go. And you may have to ship it all back. Yeah, Michael Jordan's looking for that GE 70-ton locomotive.
I think those are made by Bachman. I'll stop by their booth and register complaints. I'll bring them a letter from you, Mike. Here's the letter. I'm going to nail it to your door about your crappy 70-ton engine.
So, Mike, if you want to see absolutely sweet running GE 70-tonners, I'll send you a video from modeling the Greenville and Northern in 1/64 scale, because he runs his GE 70-tonners. They're just great.
Yeah, ask him what he did. Yeah, yeah, slap that ace of spades down.
Give him the ace of spades. So,
and I think Train Fest is coming back too.
Every other year, but I don't know. If Mike Slater's still here, somebody could. He might know. I heard something about Train Fest, and somebody blamed Mike for the fact that for anything that was possibly wrong with it must have been
that's
Mike's
so
fault.
unfair. That show's so huge. You just, I don't know. I don't even know how you run a show like that without being.
Oh, I agree.
Full time. I'm sure Springfield has to have full-time staff just to keep everybody happy and to keep, even from the insurance perspective. I can't imagine that. And here's Mike Jordan's getting rubbed in. He's getting a that's nothing from the N scalers here. So
yeah, he's got to be feeling pinged on. First carrots, now 70.
And Dex, yeah. Yeah. From his so-called friends on the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. Like I said, I'm kind of lucky with what I model. I don't have to look for much, but I'm going to go to Bowser and put my money down so I get the first C415 they ever make. And then.
So, you sold your brass one, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I have 2. I sold 1.
Okay.
And I think that one paid off my house pretty much. I was like,
good for you.
That many people wanted that thing. So, Dan's going to get a call after the podcast. Got it. Yeah, if anybody from the Twin Cities is going to Amherst, anybody from the Twin Cities is going to Madison, post it on the Facebook page. Maybe we can carpool. Anybody going to Eau Claire and ask questions, post that. And anybody going to National, post that, because a bunch of us are going out to nice vacation in Long Beach, California.
Yep. Hey, and another great spot to share information like that is the Discord, the NMRA interchange.
Yes.
And I know that it's not the easiest thing to get on, but I got on. So that means if a Luddite like me can get on, everybody can do that.
Yeah. And I think that would be a great show. Maybe next week I will corral somebody to walk us through that. Okay. That might be good little program on how to get on the NMRA Discord, which has answers to everything, and you can post anything in really good communication. They have live rooms. You want to go in there and model while you're live and have someone to chat with. Other people will join you.
Yep.
You want to host an event on there and not pay for, like I'm saying, like this Michiana division. I don't know what they pay for Zoom meetings. You can have them for free on the NMRA Discord.
Yep.
Absolutely free.
Yep. So, you're talking about Second Section podcast coming to the modelers meet. And I think we should make sure they come also to the convention, and we could do a joint podcast and have all of our special friends come on. And, we could, because they do stuff with YouTube video also. So we could get all you guys on there with your smiling faces. And boy, that'd be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
So we don't have to go down to the post office and look on the wall and see your face. So
maybe at the modelers retreat, we'll just have an open mic and we can record you all day. You can come in there and vent your grievances or tell us how much you love Gruesome Casket and things like
that's
that.
right. Yep.
Oh, geez, that's in Evanston. Okay.
Whoa. Oh, I've heard that's one that Ken Borowski talks about.
Yeah. That's a happening town. I mean, if you can't go to Vegas, you go to Evanston, Wyoming. That's
really.
Yeah.
Why is it that seems like? We could do that.
Keep it thin scales in line.
Yeah.
We could do a Zoom call, or we could do it here on StreamYard, but it won't be broadcast.
Yeah.
Or we could do it on the NMRA Discord. And you can always start a room on Facebook too.
Right.
So
cool.
If anybody just wants to model and chat online, I know Mike Slater used to host a wonderful group on certain nights, and the modeling talk would somehow solve all the world's problems, and kind of like this. So a lot coming up, a lot to partake.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Everybody's talking about Evanston here. Wow. Maybe we got to switch scales, Ken. I don't know. N scale ore cars are pretty tiny, though. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So my IT people dislike Discord. I wonder why that is.
I don't know.
Who knows? Probably because all the gamers are on there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So.
All right.
Hey, guy. It was fun to talk to everybody tonight. And I guess now that I know we're not going to have the pay option available right away, I'll finish up the newsletter, get that out. If you don't have, join the dark side. We have cookies. If you don't have, or if you're not getting the newsletter, just drop a note to info@TCD NMRA, because I go right off the NMRA national membership list. And so I've added a few people from other regions, and I'm happy to do that because it's all about keeping in touch with everybody. So when you go to a national and you run into people, you go, "Oh, I know you," and that's pretty cool. So,
all right,
great stuff.
Great stuff. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Looking forward to seeing you in 2024 at some of these events and seeing your modeling and talk to us.
Yep.
There's a lot going on in the Twin Cities Division.
Yep. And we have cookies.
And we have cookies. Christmas cookies, half off.
And peanut M&Ms.
Yeah, yes. Good night, everyone.
Good night.